back to our TriCore mat series. We are going to start in a seated position this morning. We don't need any props today unless you want a towel. Other than that, it's going to be just straight up body movement today. So we're just going to start with a little seated and centering, talking about breath, just kind of getting connected with the breath. So sit in a cross-leg position. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can sit on a pillow, sit on a little prop that just lifts you up and opens up those hips a little bit more. We won't be here too long, but we are going to spend a little time just connecting. So the first thing you want to think about is connecting with your Pilates breath. So our Pilates breath is a little bit different than if you do yoga. It's very nasal breath. It's just a little more intentional. So what we want to think about is when you breathe in, it's through the nose, and we want it to be a nice, slow, controlled breath. So I like to almost imagine as if when I breathe in through my nose that it's hitting me in the back of the throat and really filling up my back versus breathing up here into my neck and in my shoulders. I want to keep my shoulders down and relaxed and really feel that slow inhale, expanding my rib cage and opening up my back. And then as I exhale, it's an open mouth, soft jaw, so it's not like I'm blowing out a candle or anything from my mouth. I want it to be a from my belly. So feeling that breath go all the way down to my pubic bone as I breathe out as far as I can on that exhale. So let's take 3 nice deep breaths there before we start doing some movement. So we're going in through the nose, and then open mouth, soft jaw. Maybe roll the neck around, do a couple shoulder rolls. And one more time. Beautiful. All right, so from there, we're gonna start with a little side bending. So left hand is gonna anchor on the floor. We're just gonna gently start to slide that left hand out, letting my palm rest, letting my elbow soften. I wanna think of staying active in that right hip, just staying heavy. And then my right arm is gonna follow and reach up and over. So just expanding the sides of the body. Right arm comes down as I come up, and then we'll follow to the other side. Letting your head tip towards that shoulder as we go to the right. Left arm follows that movement. And then the left arm releases back down. So as I bring that arm back down, I want to feel that big stretch down the side of my shoulder, down into my neck. And then I just slide back in, stacking my head back on top of my shoulders. Let's do that 2 more times to each side. So I'm going to inhale, reach. Exhale. Right arm over. Keep my head heavy as I bring that right hand back down on the inhale. Exhale, back up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, reach that left arm over. Inhale, brings that left hand back down. Exhale, brings you back in. Beautiful. 1 more to each side. Just releasing all of those muscles on the top of the shoulders, connecting into the neck, those upper traps. Keep the head heavy as that arm comes back down, and slide it back up. Last time. Beautiful, guys. All right, so as we come back into center, just kind of reset the body, sitting up nice and tall. This time we're gonna reach the arms forward, so we're going into some rotations. So again, we wanna think of stable pelvis, heavy hips. As we inhale, the right arm is gonna sweep back. My ribs, my shoulders, my head rotate and look back towards the fingertips of the right hand. My left hand is reaching forward, and then I'm gonna exhale back to center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, center. Let's go 1 more to each side again. Beautiful, guys. All right. So now from there, we're just gonna rotate a little bit, extend the legs out, and we're going into a little spine stretch. So arms are, I'm gonna turn this way so you can kind of see my body here. So arms are reaching out in front of you, the heels are extended out. If again you tend to get tight in those hip flexors, you can stay propped up on a pillow. You can soften those knees just to release the front of the hips. Arms reach forward. We're going to take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, it's like there's a big ball on your lap. We're just going to reach. Reaching out through those fingertips, reaching out through the crown of the head. Inhale as we stack back up. And up. Beautiful. Let's do that 3 more times. Last 2. Taking that gaze towards the belly as you fold forward. Eyes come up as your head rises. Last 1. And stack it back up. All right, so from there, we're going to take it into some roll down. So let's go for 5 here. Fingertips are reaching forward. Heels are heavy, so just really think about those legs relaxing, letting your hips just start to tip. That low belly scoops in as we roll. 1 vertebrae at a time, if you can. It's a little sticky in that low back for me. Arms reach up over your head. And then they come forward. Head follows. Exhale. Dive up and over. Back into that spine stretch like you've got a ball on your lap. Inhale, stack it up. Exhale, roll. As we come down, we inhale, extend the arms up. Watch that we're not popping those ribs up as we lay back. We want to think of allowing those ribs to soften down, staying stabilized through the abdominals. When I say stabilized, it's just slightly engaged. It's not a clench. We're trying to create support and suppleness in the body, not clenching and tension. So try to release as much tension as you can and figure out, find a way for your body to work as a whole, and then suddenly everything becomes easier. So as I'm coming here, reaching into those fingertips, finding my back, drawing my belly in as I float up and over. Let's go for 1 more. And dive over towards those feet. And let's just take it into a quick little forward fold. Just giving a couple breaths here. You can reach down, grab your calves, your ankles, your feet, whatever is available to you. Let your head drop down and just take a minute there. So I want to grab, I can reach my feet, so I'm going to grab there. If you want, you can use a towel to wrap around your feet to create that connection, if that feels good for you. Because I want to think of pulling my toes towards me, letting my ribs soften down, my head soften down, and then just kind of pulling back with my arms to give myself that little added stretch, that little added tension. Softening the chin to the chest. And now I'm just going to slowly roll back down in that same fashion that I was rolling in, allowing the heels to release down as I lay back. Now once I'm there, I'm just going to kind of reset the body and go into a little twist stretch. So I'm drawing my right knee up towards my chest. I'm going to reach and grab the outside of the right knee with my left hand and pull that leg across the body. And then bring my right arm out. So just warming up the lower back. We're going to do some extension work today. We're going to do some abdominal work here. Bringing it back to center. Sliding that left heel in and up. Right hand goes onto the outside of that left knee. My left arm is going to extend out as I spiral over. So I want to try to keep that left shoulder heavy, but this is just a nice stretch. You're just going to do what the body falls into. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. As we come back to center, I'm going to draw both of my knees in. As I bring my knees in, I'll float my legs up into tabletop position. And then I'm going to reach up and grab onto the front of my shins, so just below my knees. I'm going to press my knees into my hands. So I want to feel this connection in the backs of my thighs as I push the knees into my hands, letting my heels sink down towards the floor. That's going to float me up into this C curve. So my head comes up, but I'm really trying not to hold any tension in my neck. I want to feel that width in the collarbones, that down the back of the body from my shoulder blades into my armpits, into my low belly. Now as we hold here, I want to exhale, find this tension point every single time. So you inhale, we're going to reach, arms extend, legs extend. As I exhale, just my arms circle. As I grab those knees, press the knees into my hands. I still want to think about keeping length through the tip of my tailbone. So as you see, as I curl up, I'm keeping the tailbone long and I'm curling from the upper body. My pelvis is just like when we do all of our other work, I'm trying to remain neutral. Inhale, reach. So you always want to think, what is our anchor point? So right here, I want to think about my hips, my tailbone, my sacrum being my anchor point, and everything is just kind of lifting and floating around. Last 3, last 2, last 1, and hold. Now I'm going to release my left leg, hold my right. Now there's a couple different ideas of where hands should go. I just like to grab right at the shin with both hands. Here's my exhale. Same thing, my elbows are wide. I'm using that press of the knee into my hands to support that C curve, and then switch. There's a little pause every time you grab that leg. It's not a rapid movement. It's controlled. How am I moving in space while still stabilizing? Is my pelvis staying steady? I'm reaching out through that straight leg. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Knees are going to come in. Now I'm holding that tabletop position. I'm going to release my hands and interlace my fingers behind my head. Now still holding that C curve. My elbows are falling wide, and as I exhale, I want to reach my right leg out. My left shoulder drops as my right elbow reaches across. Inhale, center. Really spiraling the rib cage, spiraling the spine. Not just reaching my elbow across the body, but really feeling that movement in the torso. My hips are heavy as my upper body rotates. Let's go one more on each side. Beautiful, back to center. And just take a second, grab those knees, support that lower back. We're gonna go into a double leg lower lift here. So the legs are gonna extend straight up towards the ceiling. Now I want you to grab behind your thighs and just do a little warm-up stretch there. Keeping the knees centered, we're just gonna bend and extend at the knee. One more time. And we're gonna keep those legs straight, toes pointed. Hands go back behind the head. As I put my hands behind my head, I wanna create this little basket of support so that my head just sits heavy in my hands, and it's my abdominals supporting that lift. Elbows are wide, collarbones are wide. I'm gonna lower the legs on the inhale. Exhale, flex, and lift. Range of motion's up to you. How far can you go without over gripping in those hip flexors? How far can you go without getting into your lower back? Last 3, 2, and last 1. Beautiful. All right, bring those knees in. And from here, we're gonna stretch our legs out. As the legs extend, we wanna just find this spot where we can really just relax those hip flexors. And as you hold here, you're gonna reach your arms up over your head. So we're going into a teaser here. So the movement starts with the arms. I'm gonna circle my arms around, and right about here as my arms are in line with my shoulders, I'm gonna start to draw my chin towards my chest. And as I start to lift my upper body, my legs float up, I'm looking down towards my toes. And then we're gonna exhale and lift. Find that balance point. Inhale. As we exhale, I'm reaching out through my fingertips, reaching out through my toes as I slowly roll back. Let my legs rest. Arms come overhead. So we won't go as slow this time. There's a point where you feel a little sticky. That's where we want to use our exhale. So we're going a little faster this time. Inhale. And the exhale floats you up. Inhale here. Exhale, bring it back down. Arms reach. Inhale at the top. Exhale as you lower. Last two. Last one. Beautiful, guys. That belly should be nice and warm here as we get set up for our next movement. Now, teasers are challenging for you. It's one of those things that takes a little practice, takes a little break. One of the options you can do is to start with your legs in tabletop position. And that little reach through the heels will help give you a little bit of momentum to get up. Just a couple of variations that you can practice there. Now, our next movement is going to be climb a tree. So we're going to let our left leg stay extended. That right leg is coming in. I'm going to float that right knee up into tabletop position and just anchor behind that thigh, bringing the knee in towards my chest. I'm just going to bend and extend a couple times here, just warming up that hamstring. And then I'm going to let the knee bend and just use that leg to rock my body up to a seated position. So we're working on a little balance here, a little control. I'm holding behind that right thigh, my toes are pointed. I'm just going to inhale, reach, exhale, and bend. So this is an active stretch here. I'm using the engagement of my quads to extend the back of my right thigh. So I should feel a little pull in that hamstring. I want to really feel that femur sitting heavy in my hip socket as I extend that leg. Last two. Last one, and hold, point, and flex at the ankle. So getting into a little footwork, maybe spreading those toes out, wiggling them around a bit. Beautiful. All right. So from there, we're going to walk up as close to the ankle as you can. So this is one of those points where if you can't get that high on your leg, if you're really tight, you can take a towel and wrap it around that foot and just create that little extra length that you need to hold on to the end of that limb. So I'm going to stay holding on to the ankle, and we're going to start here with a little rocking motion. So as I inhale, I'm tipping back, letting that left heel just kind of drag. How much can I support myself by just staying heavy in that left leg? How far can I go in that rock? And then bring the leg forward. It's not going to be very big. It's not like on the reformer where we have that support over the left foot and that allows us to release all the way back. Now I'm really depending on my ability to release into gravity, my ability to release that left leg heavy as I rock forward and back. Let's go one more here. Good. All right, so now from here, we're going to take it into that full climb a tree. I'm tipping back. Once I find that tipping point, right where I feel like I might start to float up on that left leg, I'm going to start to walk down that right leg. Lay all the way back, let my head come down, and now from there I'm going to start by starting to reach that right heel forward. As that heel starts to reach forward, I'm going to grab with my right hand or left hand and start to walk up to the ankle as that heel reaches away from me. We're going to inhale, tip it back. Exhale, walk down that leg. Inhale, chin to the chest. Exhale, walk up. And all the way up. Good. Inhale, tip it back. It's our last one here. Exhale, walk down that thigh. One vertebrae at a time. Good. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, and walk all the way up. Now from here, you're either going to grab the outside of the foot with your right hand, or you can grab both ends of the towel with your right hand, and we're just going to reach that heel out. You're going to take that left hand, support your body behind you with that left hand. You're reaching out into your right heel, tipping back, walking that left hand back as much as you need to support that stretch. Holding there for 3, 2, 1. Draw the leg out to the right side and stretch for 3, 2, 1. Back to center. Press the heel forward. And now we're going to reach across that foot with your left hand, or grab both ends of the towel with your left hand, and then reach that heel across the body We're gonna take your right hand, anchor it back behind you, and then pull that leg across, lift your chest, press down into the palm of your right hand, and just spiral that spine. And hold for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's go into a little figure 4 stretch. One more time here before we switch legs. That right leg crosses over the top of your left thigh, and we're just gonna fold over and reach out towards that left foot. Softening the chin towards the chest, lengthening out through the crown of the head. Beautiful. And then we'll release that. So as we release that leg, we're going to slide back and just draw that left knee in towards the chest, and then reach that leg, bend and extend a couple times here. So here, I'm already focusing on how am I letting that right heel, right leg just release and relax, allowing that hip to open and finding that posterior chain. Really anchoring through the back of that thigh. Now I'm going to let that left knee bend, press that thigh into my hands to curl back up. Now, from here, I'm going to stay in that seated position. Again, walking those shoulders back, extend and bend. Beautiful, guys. We've got 3 more. 3, 2. On that last one, point, flex. Good. Maybe do a few little circles, wiggle those toes around. All right. And then from there, again, we're going to walk up towards the ankle, or again, grab that towel and wrap it around the foot. Using that leg as a lever, we're going to inhale, tip it back. How far can you go without losing control? Exhale, press the heel forward to rock your body back up. So just taking it forward and back, hinging back, reaching that heel forward, feeling that stretch all the way through the back of the body. Good. Last 2. On that next one, we're going to tip it back and hold it. And then as we exhale, we're walking down that leg, 1 vertebrae at a time, laying it all the way back. As I inhale, head up, look towards that thigh. I'm going to grab the leg and start to walk back up. And I use a little momentum there. It gets a little sticky. And our goal is to not have to use that momentum, but you know, we do what we can. Make it our best. Exhale, walk back up. Focusing on that breath. Same thing as before, that little sticky spot is where we want to use our exhale. So we're inhaling back. Now head up, and as we exhale where I feel I get a little sticky, I'm going to grab and breathe out. All right, so from there, let's take both ends of that towel over into your left hand, or grab the outside of your foot with your left hand. Right hand goes back to support your balance. Press into that heel and tip it back. Left shoulder stays anchored. Lean back as far as you feel comfortable, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Pull the leg over to the left side. Lock that left shoulder in, and again, hold for 3, 2, 1. Back to center, press the heel forward, and now reach across the arch of that foot with your right hand. Left hand reaches back. You want to anchor down through the heel of the hand, pressing your left heel out. Left hand anchors down as we rotate and look over that shoulder. Lifting up and away from the hips. That gaze goes back for 3, 2, 1. And figure 4 stretch. So bring that ankle across the top of your right thigh and just hinge over that leg. All right, as we come back up, extend that leg back out. We're going to go into some leg circles here, and I'm going to keep my towel close by. I'm not going to use it just yet, but on our next exercise I will. So let's do another roll down. Arms are reaching forward. We're rolling back 1 vertebrae at a time and laying back on your back. So I like to just kind of reset my pelvis, find that length through the back of the body, arms resting down by your side. If you want to go a little bit wider, it does give you a little more stability. And we're going to start with our right leg. So I'm going to draw my right heel in and then extend my right leg straight up. Keeping those shoulders back and wide. Neck is softened and relaxed. I'm going to pull that right leg across the body as far as I can while keeping that right hip anchored. And then I'm just sweeping that leg down, around, and up. Inhale, over. Exhale, circle. 3, 4. Good. Let's go 2 more here. 5 and 6. Beautiful. Bring that knee in. I like to give it a little rest in between. And then we're going back up. This time we're going to start by taking the leg away from the body. Inhale as it goes off to the right. Exhale as it circles around and up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one here is 6. Beautiful. Knee comes in. Maybe pull it across the body. And then release that. All right, so we're switching to the opposite side. So my right heel extends out. I want to feel again that heavy leg, just letting it reach and relax, trying to let go of all the tension in that right hip now. My left heel draws in. I'm going to bring my knee up and then extend that leg up towards the ceiling. So I definitely hold a little more tension in the back of that right leg. I can feel it having to work a little bit harder, feeling that hip flexor a little bit more. So just finding that, you know, our body usually is different on each side. As we inhale, again, we're bringing that leg across the body. Exhale, circle, around and up. 4, 5, and 6. Beautiful. Bring it in, a little hug. Arms out, big leg extends up. Take it out to the left side and circle down around and up here. So it's inhale, left, exhale. 3, 4, 5, last one. Beautiful. Bring that knee in. Maybe draw it across the body. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, this is where I'm going to grab my towel, and I want to bring it right underneath my hips. Now I'm going to start with my knees bent, my feet flat, and the first thing I want to do is just grab that towel just outside of my hips. So I'm wrapping my fingers around it, knuckles are reaching down, and what that's going to do is help me support the stabilization of my shoulders and try to keep this movement out of my neck. Now I'm going to start to bring my knees up and then extend the legs. So this next exercise, I'm going to go into a full rollover. If this is not available to you, just work on how far can you roll your hips up without using momentum, without just flopping your legs all the way over. Now this is my first one of the day. It might be a little sticky. We're going to start on the inhale. Reaching out through the knuckles, anchoring the shoulders, and then as I exhale, I want to press down into my palms, back into my shoulders, as I bring those legs all the way over. And now I just want to kind of check in with those shoulders. Reach back. How far can I go here? Open my legs to a hip distance, flex my feet, and then exhale. Slowly lower back down. Point the toes, legs together. It's not my smoothest performance, but we got there. As we work here, the body should start to release a little bit more. Deep breath in here, exhale. Over, open to a hip distance. Flex those feet, slowly curl back down. Legs together, toes point, deep breath in. Exhale. Open, flex, and curl. Beautiful. So now we're going to reverse our leg work. So I'm going to keep my legs open at a hip distance apart, point my toes. Deep breath in here, and as I exhale, I'm going over with my legs apart. I'm going to reset those shoulders, flex my feet, bring my feet together, and roll. Feeling a little bit better. Still a little tight, but it's letting go a little bit more. Open to a hip distance, toes point. Exhale. Over, legs together, feet flex. Reach in those heels as we curl down. Beautiful. Last one. Toes point, legs open. Deep breath in here. Exhale. Up and over, legs together, feet flex, and curl. Whew, all the way down. Beautiful. Bend those knees. Rock yourself on up to a seated position as we set up for rolling like a ball. So rolling like a ball is going to be a little exercise of balance and support. So same thing as we talked about in those double leg stretch exercises, the single leg stretch, is I'm going to hold onto my knees. I want to keep my knees heavy in my hands as I tip back and float my feet up. Now my goal is to keep the circle of tension or engagement so that when I roll, I'm not losing that connection. I'm not using momentum, but I'm using this energy of balance between my legs pressing into my hands, my shoulders drawing back. I'm keeping that scoop in the belly, keeping my eyes down at that belly. So as you inhale, you want to rock back to at the tip of the shoulder blades, and then exhale, curl up. Balance. Inhale. So we're trying not to kick the feet back as we work. We want to keep our feet steady. We want to keep that constant tension as we come up. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. And bring it all the way up. And stick it. And then we'll go right into our Mermaid Reach. So we're going to bring our legs over to the right. Legs are kind of stacked on top of each other. My right foot's going to sit a little bit lower than my left, and I want to extend my legs out just a little. And I'm going to anchor my left hand down, right arm reaches up and over, going into a little side stretch. And then as I come up, I'm going to reach down with my right hand, left arm comes up and over. Let's just go side to side there. Good, one more time. Now from there, anchoring that left hand down, as my right arm sweeps up and over this time, I'm going to lift into this big side stretch. Left arm reaches, I'm pressing up with my hips, taking that gaze back to the fingertips, and then bringing it down and reaching up and over to the opposite side. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Left hand anchors, right arm reaches up and over, as we lift into that big side stretch and bring it down and reach up and over. Beautiful. Last one. Left hand anchors, right hand comes up and over, reaching, and bring it all the way back down. All right. So from there, we're going to swing our legs around and come down onto your belly. As we come down onto the belly, we're just going to go into just a low swan. So the first thing I want you to do is just take a minute and set up your hips. So just kind of shift those hips side to side. We want to lift one leg at a time, really focusing on how do I lift from the back of my leg all the way up to the top of my hip without getting into my lower back. And what I want to think about is not so much the lift, but the reach back. How am I finding length through the front of my thigh by engaging the back of my thigh? And this is going to come into play in the next couple exercises here. So once I find that sense of opening through the front of the hips, so my weight's not resting just on my quads anymore, I'm lengthening down through the tip of the tailbone and letting my hips become my anchor here. I'm gonna draw my elbows back next to my body and then just let my forehead lengthen down towards the mat. Now from here, again, it's just gonna be a small swan. We're not going all the way up today. You just wanna imagine you're pushing a marble away with your nose. The back of the neck stays long as we lift. And finding that support from the abdominals. How am I protecting my lower back? By drawing my navel in towards my spine. And then I want to think of reaching through the crown of the head to bring it back down. Reaching up. Inhale there. And exhale. Thinking about getting long through the back of the neck, lengthening out through the crown of the head as my head comes down. Let's do that 2 more times. Feeling that sense of shoulder blades down the back, the width across my collarbones. Crown of the head reaches towards the mat. Last one. Beautiful. All right, so from here, I'm gonna slide my elbows forward just a little bit and just a little bit closer together. And I want to use these elbows for support. So that first exercise was really how do we extend the spine while creating support for the front of the body, from the front of the body to keep that spine nice and long. So now that we've got that set up, I want to feel this length from the crown of the head down to the tip of my tailbone. My low belly is lifted as I support the upper body. I'm going to take this movement into my legs. So we're going to start with that left leg. We're flexing that foot, drawing the heel towards the hip. It's a hamstring glute pulse, and then reaching out of that hip long, and then switching to the right. 1, 2, and reach, and left. 1, 2, and reach. 1, 2, and reach. Really focus on activating that hamstring glute connection. It's very easy just to kind of flop through this movement. How are we connecting here? 1, 2, opening up the front of the hip as I flex the back of the leg. 1 more on each side. 1, 2, and reach. Beautiful. All right, so from there, I'm gonna bring my towel back into this next exercise. Just because I tend to get really tight in my shoulders, so if you have the mobility where you can interlace your fingers and that feels comfortable behind your back, you feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna take this towel right under my hips. My palms are facing up towards the ceiling. I'm just gonna bend my elbows and bring it to my lower back. I'm gonna turn my head to one side and just let my upper body relax. Now from here, we're going into a double leg kick. So I'm gonna bend both of my knees, bring my heels together. I'm gonna kick my heels towards my hips for 1, 2, 3. Legs extend, and as my legs extend, I'm gonna lift and reach back. Keep that space, reaching out through the crown of the head, toes are reaching back, and then release. Elbows bend, head turns. We're going 1, 2, 3, reach, and lift, and down. 1, 2, 3, and reach. Back down. 1, 2, 3, lengthen, and reach. We've got 1 more on each side. 1, 2. Last one. Reach. And this one, let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Now I'm gonna release my hands, so whether you're clasping your hands or holding that towel, we're gonna bring the arms forward and thinking of length. Again, it's not about that lift. It's reaching out through my fingertips, reaching back through my toes, making sure my belly's staying nice and tight to support my back. We're gonna swim kick for 10. Keep that gaze down to the floor. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. All right. We're gonna go back into a child's pose here. Just stretch out that lower back. We've got 1 more extension movement here. Slide it back in to that laying position. Now I'm gonna keep my right hand where it is, kind of tucked underneath my body. My left knee is gonna bend, and with my left hand, I'm gonna reach back and grab the top of that foot. Now, as I hold here, the first thing I wanna do is just gonna pull that hip in towards that heel in towards my hip, letting my elbow bend and relaxing down. Now, just like we did with the knees, I'm pressing the foot into my hand to create that lift. As I lift, I'm trying to get my thigh to come off of the mat. I'm anchoring down through that hip bone, rolling the shoulder back, and bring it back down. Elbow bends, head turns. Ready, we're gonna do that again. Press. Finding that back body, finding that interior support for the abdominals. Last one, press. Keeping the tailbone long as we hold, and release. All right, we're gonna switch sides. So bringing that left hand down for support, bending my right knee, reaching back, grabbing the top of my right foot. Same thing there, I'm gonna push the top of the foot into my hand to create that lift, and lower. Last one like this. And release. Beautiful. Now I'm going to keep that right foot in my hand. Bend my left knee, reach back, grab the top of my foot with my left hand, roll the shoulders back, and as I exhale, I want to think of pushing the tops of my feet into my hands to create this lift. Opening up through the collarbone, staying long in the back of the neck, pressing my feet into my hands to lift the thighs, and then relax. Bringing those heels in towards my hips. And as we exhale, press and lift. And release. One more time. And release. Beautiful. Release those feet. Press back in towards your heels. All right, and then we're going back into our mermaid. So heading to the other side here. Legs are off to the left this time. I'm reaching down and placing my right hand next to my hips as my left arm reaches up and over. And then as we come back to center, left hand anchors down, right hand reaches up and over. Last one here. Beautiful. Now from there, anchor that right hip down. That left arm is going to reach up and over, and this time we're going to extend the legs, lift the hips, and reach. Taking that gaze up to the left fingertips. And bring it back down. And then we'll reach up and over. Beautiful. We're going to go two more here. And lower. And one more time. And bring it up and over. All right, so from there, let's just turn and come up to standing. Now as we rise up to standing, let's find your feet about a hip distance apart. Feet are parallel, and just kind of shift side to side, finding that center of your feet. So from the ball of your big toe, ball of your little toe, back into your heel, we want to feel like you're equally balanced right to left and on all 3 points there. I'm going to find that weight shift back into my heels, just enough to feel that sense of lift through my inner thighs, lift through that low belly, lift up through the chest, through the crown of the head, as my arms reach up. And just like when we were doing our roll downs on the mat, we just want to curl forward, drawing that belly tight, rolling through that spine as we come all the way down into that forward fold. Letting the back of the neck relax. Feeling that weight in the heels still. And we're just gonna allow that left knee to soften. Left hand is gonna anchor down. I'm gonna take that right hand and sweep it up to the ceiling. Pressing down into my left palm to open up the right shoulder. Reach through those fingertips. And then bring it back to center. Right knee bends, right hand anchors. Left arm reaches. And then bring it back into center. And as we come back to center, grab the opposite elbows. Just do a little side to side sway, releasing all the tension out of the back of the neck. And then as we come back to center, release those hands. Slowly roll all the way back up to standing. And that is it for our mat Pilates session today. We will see you back here on Saturday. Thank you.